This video was brought to you by the generosity of my supporters on Ko-fi. Thank you for supporting the channel. Been a while. Hello, my lovelies. My name's Gilbert Dolthalion, and the plan for today is to show you how I upcycled a pair of old jeans into a brand new pocket for a friend. So this collaboration was thought up by Jeanette from Perfect Touch, and it's a really great idea for a collaboration because a pocket is something that's small but can be incredibly useful. So although it can be shipped relatively cheaply, it's something that can make a big difference, and also there's a lot of options for personalization and what you actually make. Some people have made historical pockets that are accurate to history. Some people have made utility pockets based off a pattern that I will link down below. And some people have just gone off on their own, which is what I have decided to do. Because I was thinking about it and I was very tempted to do the utility pocket, but I wanted to try something slightly different. I decided to take an old pair of jeans that I can no longer wear. I have repaired them several times and they can no longer be repaired anymore. And I decided to make one from there. And the advantage of that is that the pocket that I have created actually involves very little sewing. So this is an absolutely ideal beginner project. You do not need a machine for it. You can use a machine and it makes it slightly easier, but you do not need a machine for it. You need an old pair of jeans and a very small amount of scrap fabric and some interfacing if you want. And there are a couple of other things you can do to make it a bit more fancy, but honestly, I feel like I've cheated because there was so little work involved in this that, yes, it absolutely feels like I've cheated. I made most of this video not knowing if it would go up before or after the person who received my pocket. Well, I guess if you don't watch their channel, it's still going to be a mystery until it comes up at the end. So, I'm not going to reveal who it is until it's revealed. Some of you will know already. Some of you will find out, some of you might guess, we'll see. And I will also show you the pocket that I received, which is lovely, and I can't wait to show you guys. So, with that said, let's get to the video so I can show you how I made it. Okay friends, so here is the plan. I had a look online at a couple of patterns, specifically the utility pocket, which I'll link down below, which is a fantastic pattern and I highly recommend. And the thing is, the person that I'm gifting to, I actually know her well enough to do something personal and I would rather do that. So I was trying to figure out a way to pattern it, and I have patterned myself out a basic pocket from a couple of online measurements. So I've just taken the measurements and drawn out the rough shape and put it against my hip and figured it's about right. I will get to the explanation why there's two in a second. And I was trying to figure out how to pattern it. I was going to show you, I was going to draw lines across it where I was going to put the patterns and where I was going to put everything. And then I realised, as much as I know her very well and I could do this for myself, I do not actually have the measurements of all of her equipment. And I would like to get that as perfect as possible. So that was still a consideration, but then I had a second thought, and that is the person that I'm working with, or the person that I'm working for, wears jeans, and is pretty well known for wearing jeans. And I have this old pair of jeans that I have stopped wearing for reasons, very good reasons. They have already been patched, I should add. I've worn these for several years, and I wore them for several years with repairs as well. It's just got to the point where I don't feel like I want to repair them anymore. I kept them because this is a lot of good material. It's also got pockets. And because I'm a man and I wear men's jeans, it's got pretty deep pockets too. It goes down to here. And that pocket fits within my pocket pattern. So, the plan is to take this pocket. I have gone through my friend's videos and double checked, and she is right-handed. I hope that is correct. Because I'm so bad at left and right-handed, I don't even want to talk about it. But I'm pretty sure that she's right-handed. It's a fairly safe bet anyway, obviously. And in any case, this will be able to go either side. It's just going to be easier to use it if it's on the correct side. So this is the right hand side, and I'm going to use this pocket. And then I want to also use one of the back pockets to go at the bottom. So the reason I have two pockets patterned out is because this is my original one with the sizes that I wanted. That's what I was going to originally use. And it does fit, but only just. So I went back and added an additional seam allowance on, and now that fits just a lot better. Then I went through my stash, and I've got these two little bits of blue fabric with stars on that fit pretty perfectly to the jeans fabric. It's going to be a very, very blue project, and I'm going to try and figure out a way to put in some colour as I get going. I do have a couple of other fabrics that I could use that have got a bit more colour, so I might incorporate some of those where I get the chance. So with this back pocket, I've got two options. I definitely don't want to put it directly onto here, because if I cut it out as a whole piece, then I have essentially another pocket. So say for example, if I trim it off here, then that will be a pocket there, and then that will be an additional pocket on top of that. But what I haven't decided is if I want to have the jeans on top of the jeans, or if I want to use some of this blue and unpick the pocket and put it onto the blue. That will be a bit tricky, because obviously it's got some pretty heavy corners. But my machine has been taking heavy stuff like a champ recently, so I might risk it. And also just add a bit more colour to, not really colour because it's blue again, but like a bit more texture to the front, I guess. So what I'm going to do is also cut this out as a single piece like this. So with the whole pocket on there. And then I can lay it against the front, see how it looks, and make my decision based off that. If I don't like it, I will unpick the front. I've still got a pretty big piece of jeans fabric to use on whatever, and also cut a piece out of here and transfer it that way. So yeah, that is my plan. You guys are coming along for the ride. First steps are getting these pair of jeans where I can cut them out. I can't just cut along the seam, unfortunately, because I need a bit of it for the width, and because the pocket is tucked into it down to where you can see where the I don't know if you can actually. This is where the pocket is sewn up to. So I'm going to cut apart the front and basically end up with two legs that are split open. I will be saving the rest of this jeans fabric because there's still a lot of good material here that I can use in the future. Oh, the other thing that I'm going to use, I'm going to keep the waistband on as well. I'm going to keep this belt hook and put another one on here. I will have to see how supportive that is. I might have to put a couple of extra things to help support it. But that then should be what holds it up. Since it's there already, I might as well use it. It does have a little bit of a scratch in it here. So what I might also do, depending on time, is get a little bit of embroidery going, because that will also add a bit of colour. So I've got plenty of options for things I can do. I'm going to cut out the basic bits and then see what I want to do. First thing I'm going to do is split this up so that I can cut it out more easily. I will cut the backing out of this so that I know how much material I've got left, and then start piecing it together and see what I want to do. One other thing I forgot to add, obviously these have been through the wash. Not just using an old pair of used jeans for a mate. I have washed them, they are clean. I don't think anyone wants that. So, nice clean pair of old jeans. And we're going to make good use of them. Bit of upcycling for you today. It's not like there isn't a certain appeal to the jeans on jeans look that this is definitely screaming. I do kind of love it in a kind of 80s way, I guess. Is it even 80s? No, it's 90s that's jeans on jeans. If I am going to keep it, I need to get rid of this because that's the double welted pocket and it's going to make turning this over more difficult. That is an easy thing I can do while I decide, so I'm going to do that. That's the remaining bit of the waistband from where I cut this off, so I'm going to get that off as well so I can get that over the top of here so that I've got the extra hook on there. Yeah, I do love the jeans on jeans, I'm not going to lie. This is an actual decision I need to make and you guys can't help me because you're in the future. Help. Okay, it has been decided, it has been finalised, I am happy with this. I am, in fact, going for the jeans on jeans look because I still do low-key love it. I just can't deny it. And also, yeah, it just looks good, I like it. So, this is the assembly of all of my pieces together. Let's start from the beginning. We have got the lining, and that is going to be interfaced. This is the main front piece, and you can see I've pinned my additional belt hook in there, which I'm going to sew on in a second. This is a piece of elastic that I'm going to sew behind the pocket so that it will hold things like pens and scissors and that sort of thing in place. I've got my clippy belt here, which I am going to need to get a new piece of tape for because this is not long enough because it came from a bum bag. So funny pack if you're American, but that doesn't really work in British. So I need to go into town and replace that at some point. I've got my front pocket, so you'll be able to put stuff behind here and in here. And I'm going to interface the pocket because the jeans material actually has a tiny bit of stretch in it. So it's much better if that is interfaced. The reason I'm not doing it on this piece is because this has the pocket behind it, so I can't really. And then the pocket is also going to be lined, so that's the lining for the pocket as well. So the first job for me today is to get the two interfaces in place, and then I'm going to put something heavy on top of them so that they fuse nicely and don't go anywhere. I'm not too worried about them just because they're going to be sewn into place as well, but it's always good to be thorough, isn't it? And then the second job is going to be just to get that second belt loop into place because then it's done and it's out of the way and I don't have to worry about it. And then once that is done, we'll come back and see where we're up to. But let's do the interfacing first.
The next step was to create some channels on the elastic by sewing straight lines over it, while carefully avoiding the pocket bag underneath. This also conveniently secures the elastic down. I measured mine using my own tools, estimating what would be useful. Then the pocket was sewn to the lining with the right sides facing each other. Once I pressed that seam, I understitched it to make sure that it would sit nicely. Then pressed it again before tacking the edges together to make sure that they'd stay in place while I was assembling everything. And at this stage, it was just a case of assembly. First, I tacked the top pocket down to the main pocket. before doing the same thing to the lining, making sure to fold down the top seam to just under the bottom of what was the waistband of the jeans so that I could fell that down later. Once that was all in place and wouldn't move around, I could go on to binding the seams with bias binding. There's a lot of different ways to attach bias binding, and I've covered a couple on the sewing dictionary. But for this pocket, I sewed it to the pocket right side to right sides. Then after pressing it, flipped it over, quickly felled the top seam into place so that it was also finished. And then also felled the bias binding down. With the thickness of the layers, this was the technique that I'd have the most control over, so I thought it would be the neatest option. I finished off the bias binding at the top by tucking it under when I was felling it, so all the raw edges were hidden.
Okay, and in theory, this is now finished. It could perfectly well be left like this. It's got a lining, it's been hemmed or bound, and it's got all of its pockets. It's got a nice front one here, and then it's got a big one with the elastic underneath. It's got another big one here, and then obviously the tiny little one at the top. However, two things I'm going to add, one of which is some embroidery, because I think it just needs a little bit that isn't blue, because let's be honest, this is a very blue pocket at the moment, which isn't a bad thing, but I want to add a bit more colour. And the other thing is a belt. This could go onto a belt that someone has. They are belt hooks, they work with belts. But because I have my clippy, I figure I can use it, and that's less faff than faffing around with a belt or putting one aside for it. So this is what I'm using. I think I showed it to you guys before. It's off a bum bag or a fanny pack. This is literally all of the tape that the shop had. So it's just enough, which normally I would leave a little extra space, but unfortunately that is not an option. I'm just going to chuck that through the machine quickly and then do some embroidery and then get this off and sent. If you can hear purring, you're not mistaken. There is a small furry creature wandering around, getting in the way. This is done. As you can see, I've added some embroidery like I said I was going to, and she's now getting into the bin. Cat, there is nothing in there for you. This is what I'm dealing with, friends. As you can see, I've added some embroidery. I didn't put it on camera because I did it while we were on holiday. I have added some metallic thread in there, so there's a little bit of shine, which I will try and show you. Don't know how well it will come up on camera. And the reason that I did thread and metallic thread is to make it a little bit thicker without using too much metallic thread. But also I think it brings out the metallic thread more rather than just having the metallic thread on the jeans fabric. Especially with the dark blue and the black metallic thread, it works much better. There is plenty of space in there. It's built from a man's pocket, so obviously you can get your phone in there, which is why I would recommend you try and get hold of a men's pair of jeans if you can. I know there are some women's jeans that do actually have pockets, but you know, few and far between. So for the embroidery, I couldn't follow my normal technique of putting it up against the window and tracing something, so I had to completely freehand it, which was another reason why I wanted to go for something relatively simple. If you did it before it was all put together, you still wouldn't be able to do that, and the advantage of doing it when it's all put together is that it kind of holds itself stable, so you don't have to worry too much about it creasing or anything or wrinkling. But if you did it earlier, then you would be able to put the whole pair of jeans into an embroidery hoop, and that would help. So aside from that, everything goes the normal way of embroidery. I mostly use stem stitch, which you can find on my 101 embroidery stitches. It's a very, very simple stitch, quite easy and quick to do. And yeah, I just drew out what I wanted to do with a watercolour pencil, embroidered that, and then erased the pencil with a wet cloth and let it dry. So this is now all ready to send. It's going to take a while to get there. The shipping to America, there's another final clue for you, does indeed take a long time. So I am sending her a bunch of other treats in there as well. And now Ruffnut is going to do her best to imitate art and touch all of the things. So I better wrap up and get this sent off. Right, I almost forgot to mention. So if you haven't guessed, which you quite well might not have done, and if you haven't seen, which you are less likely to not have done, then this is going to Noelle from Costuming Drama, who is an absolutely amazing human being, and I was so happy to have the chance to send something to her. If you don't already watch her channel, then go check it out. Her videos are a joy to watch, so go watch those. And Noelle, I hope you enjoy your pocket. Mrs. Well, it's been blessed and also trodden on. Has neat. Hello, my lovelies. Guess what I have? I would say that it just arrived, but that would be a lie. I've had it now for, honestly, probably more than a week. But I had stuff going on, so I haven't had a chance to open it. So I've been very well restrained, and I haven't opened it, even though I really wanted to. But I know who it's from. It's from Micah from Engineering Knits, who does the most amazing stuff. She did a hammock recently, which I'm absolutely amazed by, as well as some other really, really cool stuff. So you should definitely go check out her channel. And now, finally, I can see what she's made for me. Are we ready for this? Oh, nice. I can already see that she's put a progress flag on it. Beautiful. That's amazing. And done some nice embroidery too. So, that's it. I know that she's got something on the inside as well. That's the most delicate little change stitch as well. I'll show you guys up close in a minute. And obviously she's knitted this, but I can tell there's something inside. A letter for me. The reason this chain stitch is so fine is because she used a treadle machine for it. That is so cool. And the treadle machine is from, I can't find it again now. You know what, I'm just going to read it to you. That makes more sense, doesn't it? Dear Gilbert, I had such a good time watching all of your videos to get some inspiration for your pocket. The fabric of the pocket is made from the cotton twill I used for my first Victorian costume. The tape for the binding is from my first corset I made. Inspired from all of your hand sewing and embroidery videos, I hand stitched the entire pocket except for the white embroidery. For that I used my 1896 treadle machine's embroidery capacity for the very first time. I chose the decoration to match your amazing doublet and trunk hose. I hope you enjoy it. Happy sewing. Okay. So, and it's beautiful. Thank you so much. So thank you again for making me this amazing pocket. I'm really looking forward to using it. If you guys aren't already subscribed to Engineering Knits, head over there, go follow her. She's amazing. And thank you again. I really love it. So that's my pocket and the one that I received. Thank you again to everyone who was involved in this. It was so much fun. It was a great little collab, and it's a really, like I said at the beginning, it's just a really good idea for a collab. It's something small and easy to post that is very useful and can be really easily personalized, and I love what I received, and I'm really happy with what I sent out, even if it still feels like I've cheated. Thank you for letting me take part in it, and I hope that you guys, the viewers, are enjoying the collaboration. There is a playlist that I'm putting together with everyone's videos as they go up. They will be going up in dribs and drabs because we don't have a set date for them, so keep an eye out. I will be updating it as it goes along. You probably have noticed that if you are a long-term viewer of this channel, you will notice that there's been a bit of a gap in my videos. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, it's winter. Winter has happened. That's the thing that's happening. We'll keep pretending that it's not happening. Number two is that we came home from the holidays with a pair of kittens. This was planned. It's not something that we did on a whim. It's something that has been planned since May, but we came back in August with our 2 new kittens, who are lovely and adorable and very, very energetic, and I feel like I'm a full-time parent at the moment, so they've been taking quite a lot of time. The third reason is that we've had some medical stuff that wasn't unexpected, but turned out to be a bit more intense than we expected. So everyone's fine, everything's going fine, it's just a bit all hands-on at the moment. It's personal stuff, so I'm not going to go into detail, but you guys don't need to worry about it. It's just some stuff that's been happening on in the background and has been taking a lot of my time. So I am hoping to get more stuff out more regularly again. I do have a lot of videos. I have videos that were in planning before stuff started to happen that I still want to finish. I've got 2 that I'm halfway through filming for Christmas presents that I'm hoping to get out before the end of this month. And then I've been working on a video essay for several months now that hopefully will be finished before Christmas. There is stuff planned. I am hoping to get back to a regular schedule, but we'll see how that goes. Thank you for sticking with me. I know it's been a long while since the last video, not because I didn't want to put a video out for you guys, but sometimes life is just too busy, unfortunately. Thank you for watching. And thank you as always to my lovely subscribers and to everyone who donated to my coffee. You are wonderful, thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, please give me a thumbs up or subscribe to the channel if you're not already for more sewing and costume related content. Or if you're able, consider donating to my coffee. Stay safe, stay sensible, and I shall see you again soon. Bye! So I was going over several actually, you know what, this is in the video, I'm not going to cover this. Why is it so loud outside? Tread on the cat.